Most people go through life following unspoken rules without even realizing it. You might have felt confused when someone rejected your offer politely but never followed up, or wondered why a colleague got promoted faster even though you worked harder. The answer isn't luck or favoritism. It's the hidden social rules that no one teaches you in school. No one mentions in family conversations, but rules that govern almost every interaction you have. These rules aren't written down, but they're everywhere. They determine how people perceive you, how opportunities come your way, and how you navigate relationships, both personal and professional. Ignoring them means you'll keep hitting walls, feeling overlooked, or making mistakes that set you back. Understanding them is the first step to cognitive awakening, the moment you stop operating on autopilot and start seeing the world as it really is, not as you wish it were. Let's start with the first hidden rule: people judge your worth by how you value yourself. This isn't about being arrogant or self-centered. It's about setting boundaries and not letting others treat you as an afterthought. If you're always available, always saying yes to favors even when you're stretched thin, people will stop respecting your time. They'll call you at the last minute, ask you to take on extra work, and assume you'll never say no. Why? Because you've taught them that your time and energy are less important than theirs. I've seen this play out countless times. A friend of mine used to drop everything to help her roommate pick up groceries, cover her shifts, even lend her money without ever asking for anything in return. At first, her roommate thanked her, but over time, it became expected. When my friend finally said no to covering a shift because she had an important meeting, her roommate got angry, like my friend had done something wrong. That's what happens when you don't set boundaries. You train people to take you for granted. The fix isn't to be rude. It's to be clear. When someone asks you for a favor that you can't or don't want to do, say no firmly but politely. You don't need to give a long explanation. A simple "I can't do that right now" is enough. When you value your own time, others will too. This rule applies to every area of life: work, friendships, romantic relationships. It's not selfish, it's self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of how others see you. The second hidden rule: silence is more powerful than words. Most people feel the need to fill every awkward pause, to explain themselves, or to defend their choices. But the truth is, silence commands attention. When you speak less, people listen more. When you don't rush to justify yourself, you come across as confident and in control. Think about a job interview. The candidate who rambles on about every detail of their life is less impressive than the one who speaks concisely, answers questions directly, and isn't afraid to pause before responding. The rambler seems nervous, like they're trying to prove themselves. The quiet one seems sure of their abilities. Silence also gives you time to think, time to process what's being said, to avoid saying something you'll regret, and to let the other person reveal more about themselves. Another example: arguments. When someone is angry and yelling, the worst thing you can do is yell back. Instead, stay silent. Let them finish. Let their anger die down. When you don't engage, you take away their power. They can't argue with someone who isn't fighting back. And when the silence stretches on, they'll often start to question their own position. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's knowing when to hold your tongue and when to speak up. Third hidden rule: people don't care about your excuses, they care about your results. You can have the best reasons in the world for missing a deadline, for not following through, or for making a mistake, but at the end of the day, all anyone cares about is what you deliver. Excuses might make you feel better, but they don't change the outcome. They just make you look unreliable. I worked with a guy who was brilliant, smart, talented, full of ideas, but he was always late. Every time, he had an excuse: traffic, a family emergency, a last-minute task. At first, people overlooked it, but after a few months, his team stopped trusting him. They stopped giving him important projects because they never knew if he'd deliver on time. He had all the potential in the world, but his excuses derailed his career. Instead of making excuses, take responsibility. If you miss a deadline, admit it, tell the person what you're going to do to fix it. If you make a mistake, own it and learn from it. People respect those who take accountability. They don't respect those who blame others or make excuses. Results speak louder than words, and excuses don't speak at all. Fourth hidden rule: the people you surround yourself with determine your future. You've probably heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's true, the people around you shape your mindset, your habits, and your goals. If you hang around people who are negative, who complain constantly, who settle for less, you'll start to do the same. If you hang around people who are ambitious, who work hard, who believe in themselves, you'll rise to meet their level. This isn't about ditching your old friends. It's about being intentional about who you spend your time with. If you want to grow, you need to surround yourself with people who challenge you, who push you to be better. If your current circle doesn't support your goals, if they laugh at your dreams or discourage you from trying, you need to expand your circle. Find people who share your ambition, who have already achieved what you want to achieve. Learn from them. Ask them for advice. Their mindset will rub off on you. I've seen this happen firsthand. A former colleague of mine wanted to start her own business, but her friends kept telling her she was crazy, that she'd never succeed. She almost gave up until she joined a group of entrepreneurs. Suddenly, she was surrounded by people who understood her, who encouraged her, who had been through the same struggles. Within a year, she launched her business, and it's now thriving. The difference wasn't her ability, it was the people she surrounded herself with. Fifth hidden rule: kindness is not weakness, but it needs boundaries. There's a difference between being kind and being a pushover. Kindness is a strength. It's treating people with respect, being generous, and helping others when you can. But kindness without boundaries is weakness. It's letting people take advantage of you, letting them walk all over you, and letting them drain your energy. You can be kind and still say no. You can be kind and still set boundaries. You can be kind and still prioritize your own needs. In fact, being kind to yourself first is the only way to be truly kind to others. If you're exhausted, if you're burned out, you can't help anyone. So don't feel guilty for putting yourself first. Kindness should be mutual. If someone is only taking and never giving, it's time to reevaluate that relationship. For example, a neighbor who always asks you to water their plants when they're away, but never offers to help you when you're out of town. A friend who always borrows money but never pays it back. A colleague who always asks you to cover their work but never returns the favor. These are one-sided relationships. Kindness should flow both ways. If it doesn't, you're not being kind, you're being taken advantage of. Sixth hidden rule: perception is reality. It doesn't matter how hard you work, how good you are, or how honest you are. What matters is how people perceive you. If people think you're lazy, it doesn't matter if you work 12-hour days, they'll treat you like you're lazy. If people think you're untrustworthy, it doesn't matter if you've never lied, they'll be hesitant to trust you. This isn't about being fake. It's about being aware of how you present yourself, your body language, your tone of voice, the way you dress, the way you speak. All of these things shape how people perceive you. If you want to be taken seriously, you need to present yourself seriously. If you want people to trust you, you need to act in a trustworthy way. A simple example: showing up to a meeting 10 minutes late, wearing sweatpants and a messy shirt. You might have a great reason for being late, and you might be the most talented person in the room, but people will perceive you as unprofessional, as someone who doesn't care. On the other hand, showing up 5 minutes early, dressed neatly, with a firm handshake and eye contact, people will perceive you as reliable, as someone who takes the meeting seriously. Perception isn't everything, but it's the first thing people notice. These hidden rules aren't meant to make you cynical. They're meant to make you aware. They're meant to help you navigate the world more effectively, to avoid unnecessary mistakes, and to build better relationships. Cognitive awakening is about seeing things clearly, seeing the rules that others ignore, and using that knowledge to your advantage. You don't have to change who you are. You just have to be more intentional. Set boundaries. Use silence wisely. Focus on results. Surround yourself with the right people. Be kind, but not a pushover. And be aware of how you're perceived. Do these things, and you'll start to see a difference in your relationships, in your career, in your life. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these hidden rules resonated with you the most? Have you ever experienced a situation where ignoring one of these rules held you back? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you found this video helpful, subscribe to my channel. There's more content coming to help you with cognitive awakening, self-improvement, and navigating the hidden rules of life. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video.